Hello, I'm Steve Contente, host of the Bristol Administrators Table. Today is Thursday, July 11th, 2019. Welcome. Today we have some special guests. We have Chris Vitale, the Town of Bristol's Economic Development Coordinator, Gregg Marsili, the Bristol Harbormaster, and one of Bristol's Assistant Harbormasters, Dave Guertin. Gentlemen, thanks for coming and welcome to the Administrators Table.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you for having us.
Chris, your position is Economic Development Coordinator for the Town of Bristol. It's been a position that's been in place for a number of years. It was previously a position with another person, but tell us about your role. Maybe precede that with a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So my role with the Town's Economic Development Coordinator, what I do is business relations. I work on different business initiatives, work on community outreach and grant management. So my background is I came to Bristol 2011 as an undergraduate at Roger Williams University. I graduated with a bachelor's in business marketing, and when I graduated, I moved down south to Dallas and worked in property management. So I worked with multifamily housing and different lease-up projects. So during that time, I also got my master's in strategic communications before coming back to the town.
Oh, great. So Chris, your job is unique. You essentially wear two hats, CDBG grant management, and then you also do the economic development work for the town. Can you tell us about both parts of your position?
Yeah, absolutely. So for the CDBG program, that's a federally funded and regulated program through the Housing and Urban Development branch of the government. And through that department, their initiative is all about giving funding for areas that are historically low to moderate income. So we support projects like Streetscape Downtown. We do home repair program for individuals who really can't, do those fixer-upper projects by themselves, and then we also help with different community public services.
Okay, let me just ask a question. That is an important program, the home improvement program. How would somebody, a lifelong resident of Bristol that may be having trouble maintaining their homes financially, how would they go about getting assistance?
So this is an annual program. The application cycle usually starts in the fall, beginning of October, mid-October, and they can either come into the Department of Community Development at 9 Court Street and pick up an application. They can also get an application on our website, bristolri.gov, or if they want to call my office, I can even send them an application as well.
Okay, so you have a few of these projects ongoing right now?
Yes, so we have 3 applications right now that are with the state for this year. We're very pleased. Last year we were able to help out a couple residents in town for about $50,000 of grant funding, so it's a real help.
Okay, so your position is actually partially funded through CDBG?
That's right. So with every project, there's a portion of that grant that allows for administrative cost, and so the town does get reimbursed, which is a good savings for the town.
Great. Tell us about some of the other CDBG grants that you've applied for and some that we may be using right now.
Absolutely. So earlier this year, we finalized a contract for a streetscape program in our downtown. So the town of Bristol was awarded $491,000 to redo the sidewalks and curbing in a few of our downtown streets. So Congregational's on there, St. Elizabeth and Roma Street will be ones that we're going to be and are actively working on design and permitting for.
Good. So that's, I think it's just less than $500,000.
That's right.
Great. That'll help quite a bit. And I know some of those areas really could use some work with the sidewalks and accessibility. So that's great. Tanyard Brook, I think you're working with CDBG on the application and the grant management there also, right?
Yeah, so Tanyard Brook is actually wrapping up right now. They're on their final check and punch list. That was a grant through CDBG through their disaster relief fund. So I believe $1.8 million approximately that we were able to get funded for that project. And so really they're on their final phase right now. It's really looking good down there.
Good. You do other things somewhat business related, and it's helping out in Town Hall with our outreach, with our IT infrastructure and so forth. Can you talk a little bit about about that area of your job.
Absolutely. So, a big part of my job is really trying to get information out to the public, both residents as well as businesses in town. So I came in last year and really wanted to try and get us on social media. So if people had a quick question, they could find that information on our social media pages. Earlier this year, we actually were fortunate enough to do a website redesign, so making it a little bit easier for people to go and find information on our website. It's a lot user.
Can you talk about e-permitting?
Absolutely. So e-permitting, that was really started in community development back in 2017. They were able to change up their program, do it all electronically for business owners, so building permits, electrician permits. Right now, we are in the process of doing e-licensing with our town clerk's office, so that'll be phased in a little later this year.
Okay. And I know that our building department currently does e-permitting, and it seems to be working out well. Interesting thing about e-permitting, you can still do it the traditional way and come in and write a check.
Yes.
And actually get in-person customer service. Will that change?
That won't change. So people will still be able to go into town hall or community development, ask questions to our staff, and we do have kiosks that will be set up at town hall as well. So if you have any questions, our staff can walk you through the process.
Good. Let's talk about business development. Are there any initiatives you're working on currently? Tax stabilization or any similar programs?
The town's tax stabilization program was put in place to assist businesses as they look to expand their current building's footprint by allowing them to phase in their existing property taxes over a 5 or 10 year period. So I believe right now we have about 5 businesses taking advantage of the opportunity.
Do you manage the tourism line?
I do. So the town started this partnership, and that is with Explore Bristol, the Bristol Merchants Association, the East Bay Chamber of Commerce, and Discover Newport. Mm-hmm. The line has about $28,000 for different initiatives each year.
So that's 28. That's local funds.
That's
through our operating budget.
Yes.
Okay.
So that supports different tourism activities such as events that are hosted in town, as well as outreach. So really trying to attract people, let them know about the events in town, and really trying to tell them everything Bristol has to offer.
I'm sorry, but
No,
events that would be like the snowflake raffle around the holidays, holiday preview. It helps support some of those programs.
Yes.
in the winter months, right?
Yes, so it has those events. In addition, we also help with the British Motor Car Festival that took place last month,
Yeah.
helps with the State Street Fair in September, and then also the Black Ships Festival that is taking place next month.
Black Ships Festival. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so that was previously in Newport last year. They decided to move up to Bristol for the first time for a change of scenery. It's in its 36th year. The festival itself is commemorating Commodore Matthew Perry from the United States and his achievement of setting up a trade treaty with Japan. So each year this is a really big festival that happens in Japan, and equally it's a pretty big festival that happens here in town.
Nice. Good. Chris, thank you. Is there anything else you think you might want to bring up? I know we have some other guests here we'd like to get to, but...
Yeah, so the only thing I'll say is I also host an economic development coffee hour. That takes place, I actually have one coming up here on Monday, July 15th. It's at 7 o'clock at the Empire Tea and Coffee. Community members, business owners are encouraged to come in and ask me questions.
Great. Chris, thank you.
Absolutely.
Harbormaster Marsili, welcome.
Welcome. Hi.
Gregg, could you please tell us about yourself?
So, not a native of Bristol. I came via 21 and a half years in the Coast Guard. My last assignment was being the officer in charge right in town.
At the ACE?
At the ACE navigation team. Upon leaving there in 2013, I took the job as the Harbormaster and have been here since.
I don't want to interrupt you,
Yep.
but is this the same job that you applied for, or do you see that it's changing?
Well, this job definitely has changed. That somehow, in the midst of everything, I got in charge of all the waterfront downtown parking, managing the Prudence on Ferry. We didn't have that when we started.
I said that, and right behind you, I'm looking at the marina expansion project, and that hopefully we can talk a little bit about that.
Sure.
Gregg, you have Dave Guertin with you. Mr. Guertin, thank you for coming.
Thank you for being here. I've been here My family's been here since the 70s. My children went to Rockwell School when it had but 3 rooms. My daughter is still in town running a business on Church Street, as is my wife. My history is I was involved in power plants and wastewater treatment plants up and down the East Coast for 30 years. And then I took a position as Public Works Director on the Cape. I've been with Gregg now 6 years. I've seen how his department has morphed through the initiatives of the town and of Gregg, so it's been interesting.
Yeah. Well, thanks for all your efforts and commitment to our waterfront. And I like to say working waterfront.
Working.
That's right.
It's only one of the oldest ports in the country.
That's right. Yeah, we're proud of it. Gregg, could you tell us about the proposed marina expansion?
Okay, so right now the marina expansion project has been going on for about 3 years now, a planning phase and design, and right now we're in permitting with the CRMC and DEM. We're looking to put a marina in to expand off the existing Church Street Marina, which is right here next to the Maritime Center. There'll be a 71 slip internal slip marina. 61 of those slips in the center here and some of these slips down here will be for residents of Bristol only, and then the rest of it will be for transient boaters on the inside and the outside.
Gregg, for those at home that may not know, transient?
A transient boater is a visitor to town. We have increased the visitors in the last 6 years tremendously, so it's a good economic boost for not only for the town of Bristol and renting the slips out, but for the local businesses and restaurants.
Gregg, I want to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
Off the top of your head, last year, what were your revenues on transients?
Last year alone, we were just close to $34,000 in revenue. The bigger number is we turned away about $12,000 because we didn't have the space for the amount of visitors that wanted to come into town. And when they come into town for a mooring, it's $40 a night, and if it's a boat, it's $3 a foot. So we brought a lot of visitors into town. They stayed 2-3 days at a time. They leave, and we get a fresh crop every year. But that's been growing every year with the opening of the Maritime Center and having more availability for docks and moorings.
Right. How was 4th of July? Was it busy?
4th of July was very busy this year. We sold out all the dock space and moorings probably by middle of March when we start taking reservations on March 1st. And the anchorage filled up by 9-10 o'clock in the morning. We probably had an additional 500-600 boats come in just for the holiday weekend. And they lingered through until, what did you say, Dave, on Sunday?
2 or 3 days, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we were quite...
The port has become that inviting.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good. So part of the new design, would it include fuel pumps?
So right now we're also going to be out for permitting for a fuel pier down at State Street Dock. The tank will be back towards the end. It'll still keep the entire lot open, parking lot open for the fishermen and anybody that likes to do business down there. But we'll also we'll put a dock in down here and have the fuel pumps down at the end out of the way to fuel boats up. It's going out for permitting very shortly. There's probably 3-4 months of permitting there, and construction on something like that goes pretty quick. So with approval of the town council, hopefully we can be open for next spring, early summer.
Where is the nearest place to get fuel if you're a boater?
If you're a boater, the nearest place to get fuel is on the island. So either New England Boat Works, Hinckley Marine, or
Aquidneck Island,
or over towards in the Secana River in Standish Boatyard or Pirates Cove.
Right. Will this affect our current fishermen, our shell fishermen that use State Street Dock?
No.
Okay.
No, we're gonna. The trailer parking area, which is in here, will still remain just for trailer parking only. The pumps are off of the pavement, so that won't affect any parking up along the side for any residents or visitors that park on the street. Won't affect the fast ferry coming in. It'll stay a working port, as we want.
Yeah.
If I may add, what it will be of interest to the fishermen is they're constantly lugging fuel cans down to their boats. An often asked question is, where can we get fuel? We will get fuel in Bristol in the short order. It will be a convenience factor for them.
Great.
Fuel's, it's much safer when we're taking it right out of the pump than a 5-gallon can being, spilled into a boat. You know, we all have enough trouble in the backyard, the lawnmower, trying to dump gas into the can without overfilling it.
Yeah.
So this will help with that. So it's better for the environment as well.
Right. Great. You know, there's a lot happening downtown. That's why I wanted to bring the Harbor Department on the show. One of the things that you have on the way is the Waterfront Festival.
Yep, our Harbor Festival this year is August 10th. It started as the local fishermen want to have a blessing of the fleet, and then, you know, it's Bristol fashion. We want to do a little bit more to make it a little more exciting. So we started having, you know, in conjunction with that, the Harbor Festival. That's Saturday, August 10th. It starts at 1:30 with the blessing of the fleet. We'll have a home chef stuffing competition, and then we have a little neck boil and a steak fry that goes along with it, starting at 5 o'clock.
It's nice to see those traditions continue. The actual Harbor Festival is somewhat new, but I always remember, even as a kid, the blessing of the fleet. And I could tell you back then, that was quite the event. And it used to be off the, we call it the High Walls, Independence Park.
Yep. We've been growing a number of boats every year. I think we had about 55, 60 boats last year. The weather we ended up getting a storm in, but we got the meal in, and everybody had a good time.
So if there's somebody traveling through Rhode Island or through the Bay and they wanted to stay overnight, how would they determine if Bristol was open?
So the easiest way is to go to our website, town website, bristolrri.gov, and go onto the Harbormaster page. And right in the middle of the page, there's a big button that says reservations. We use a system called Docwa. It's a local Newport company that was started a few years ago. We were one of the original people that signed up on it.
What is it again?
Docwa, D-O-C-K-W-A. And they can go in there and type their information in and see if we have openings.
Right. Will they get power and water?
On the transient dock, we have power, water. We also have a pump out station there if they need. As far as the moorings, they get a nice, you know, mooring and pennants there, and they just tie up for the night.
Right. So the nice thing about Bristol, everything there's a lot that's within walking distance. Museums, fine restaurants.
Yeah, everything's right there. And when they come in, Steve, they come down to the Maritime Center. We give them an Explore Bristol pamphlet.
Yeah. Explore Bristol is, Chris, you want to chime in on that? Explore.
Yeah, so Explore Bristol is a public partner, so it is a lot of the business leaders in the community who came together and really worked to promote Bristol to Greater Rhode Island and the region.
So it's explorebristol.com, and there's maps and links.
Yes, so the East Bay newspaper, actually, each year they put out the Explore Bristol County brochure. So this actually covers Bristol, Warren, and Barrington. It has a map of downtown. It has things to do, and then a lot of the businesses have their addresses listed in here as well.
Yeah, I think this is great, and it's certainly a concerted effort to accentuate the beauty of Bristol, some of the beauty of Bristol, which is the waterfront. And there's a lot of people that don't understand what the town looks like from the water. Recently, and I had the last Bristol Town Council meeting, we talked about a program at the Bristol Warren Regional School Department where the fourth graders go out sailing. And I could tell you, I saw the kids and how they reacted to being on the water sailing, and they tied it into academics, math, and the science of sailing and so forth. But it was really nice to see the kids actually see where they live from the water. It's a different perspective. So it's really something special we have here. It's something that benefits all of us as Bristol residents and taxpayers, because our waterfront is an economic generator. When we have visitors coming in here, they're not tying up traffic. They're stopping. They're eating in our restaurants. They're visiting our stores, and it's certainly a healthy place to be. Gregg, what else is going on?
So I guess the other big thing we had going on at the waterfront this year is the parking. We adjusted some parking lots, and we added some overnight parking for visitors that need to spend the night, whether they're going over to Prudence Island on the ferry or just staying in town. They need a place to park. So the old Prudence Island ferry dock was all permitted parking that people leased parking spots from us. We had moved them across the street from the Robin Rugg complex, and now that the Prudence Island ferry dock this year is open to anybody to park for free for the day.
Right. And now that was necessary for a couple of reasons. Number one, the Prudence Island dock is going to be repaired this
this September.
September, the day after Labor Day.
Yep, they're going to start setting up.
Okay, so the total rebuild of the Prudence Island dock, which a portion of it will most likely have to be closed during the construction.
Yeah, we're going to keep traffic open for the ferry on and off, but the rest of it will be closed.
Right, okay. Something that not everyone knows is the parking lots in the downtown area, many of them are leased from private owners. The town of Bristol spends a considerable amount of money leasing parking lots so that our downtown will have parking other than street parking. So it's important for the public to know that we do spend a considerable amount of money in our budget paying for downtown parking. In fact, we just purchased, through the town council, purchased a parking lot on State Street. We've always rented it, became available by the family. It's across from Bristol House of Pizza. There's a parking lot there that now that the town of Bristol owns, and it's public free parking. So I think that's a pretty good benefit in municipalities.
Yeah.
So did you guys go to the parade?
Yeah.
Well, I know you guys worked,
It's
but I think
obligatory, isn't it?
yeah. Thing about the parade is I can't tell you what the parade looked like, but I can tell you what our residents and visitors look like, and I saw a lot of happy people, proud people, and one other thing there was somebody on the parade who were giving out pins. In fact, I'm wearing it. I don't know if we can zoom in on this. It's a USA red, white, and blue pen. I don't remember who gave it to me, but he was giving it out to different people marching, and I just think it's fantastic. So whoever that is out there that was handing these out, thank you, and I'm wearing it to Bristol Town Hall every day. It says USA, red, white, and blue. So thank you, whoever that was. So what else do you think we could cover today?
Well, I'm saying that I think it's very interesting how, through the support of Chris and the town council, all the initiatives that Gregg has undertaken for improvements in the harbor, additional moorings, recently produced dinghy dock space, free, by the way, which is, one of those things that when people come to town, and as recently as this morning, another visiting boater, first thing, where can I tie up? You can tie up with us. Where can I put my dinghy? We have free dinghy over there. What can I eat? Where are the restaurants? We have a pamphlet at the Maritime Center. It's interesting how that all meshes, and we're getting known as a welcoming, friendly harbor. And I think there's a lot of things that come into play with that.
That one of the reasons why I was hoping you would agree to be on the show, Dave. You are a Bristol resident, so
yes.
you can see you're not a full-time employee of the town.
No.
You have a lot vested in our success and so forth, so I appreciate your words and everything that you're doing. One of the good things I like about our management style at the harbor right now, and I'll say it again, we're not changing entirely. We like who we are. We like, the working waterfront. We're not about to change that. Chris, tell us about the Oliver Hazard Perry. Can we count on it coming?
We're working on it. Yeah, we had a meeting here a couple weeks ago, and the Oliver Hazard Perry is Rhode Island's tall ship, so we really want to try and get it down there at Independence Park for the Black Ships Festival.
Yeah, that's we like to give out town coins to visiting ship captains and lifelong town employees, but we just gave out a town coin to the lieutenant commander of the Tornado, the USS Tornado, that was in Bristol Harbor, a long tradition. It was nice to have representation from the United States Navy in Bristol Harbor during the holiday. Well, gentlemen, we're about out of time. I want to thank you for coming on the show. I think you're doing well working together for the betterment of Bristol. For all of you at home, thank you for joining us on the administrators table. I'm Steve Contente. Be well.